Hello, YouTube modeling community. This is Rusty Rotor. This is part 2 of an update on the NYS 2023 Pro Street Group build. If you remember, we are Frankensteining the Hot Rod Lincoln Pro Street with the new Mustang 71 Boss Mustang. It does not have the 351 in it. That engine will be going in a different build down the road. I said, why not? I think it'll all fit, no problems. Here's our engine. I can't turn it upside down because I'll drop all the parts out. So kind of, I love that look. And all this is going to fit. Believe it or not, I didn't have to do a lot to it. As you remember, we shaved 1/8 of an inch off each side down to nothing. And you can see even close up, I have no gaps. It sits just like it should be, both sides the same amount. We did get overzealous and cut the rear pan too soon, so we scratch built that all back in. There is a definitive line, but that's okay. That it looks the part now that it's painted, and I kind of thought it would, but just be mindful. Our second worry was the alignment of the wheels, the wheelbase. What is the wheelbase in this car? Well, the Mustang is in measuring with a ruler in inches is almost, not quite, 3/16 of an inch difference than the Mustangs. Mustang is a little longer. So, that presented a challenge. What are we going to do now? I don't want to cut the chassis and bring it in or extend it out, whatever we need to do. What can we do to resolve this quickly and without a lot of work? And that was looking at the 4-link and thinking, well, it rests here and the contact points are here on the 4-link. Let's pad those out and see. So we padded them out one time. We put it in place and it was bingo. The differential still rests barely on the little support down here, but it rests on it nonetheless. And padding it out, it put the wheelbase right back where it needs to be. Now, there's always somebody that says, no, that's not right, it doesn't fit. Well, you guys have seen pictures of this. And I can put this down in place. Everything is tight. There we go. And by doing that, these tires are about 1/8 of an inch shorter than the tires you would get in the kit. They're 1/8 of an inch wider. So that's even better. They fill up the wheel wells even better, which is what I like and what I always try to go for. That allowed us to lower the ride of the car to where we wanted it to be. So I'm gonna, while I got this on here, I'm gonna mock this up real quick, and you guys are gonna get to see the ride height. Low and nasty. Front wheel right where it needs to be. Rear wheel right where it needs to be. That is our ride height. And it worked out perfect, as you can see. I couldn't have asked for anything better. Now you may ask, what's all the primer here and there? Well, that's where I've done body work, and I want to double check myself before I go any further. We've got parts primered that are ready for paint, parts that are primered, ready for maybe more body work. So far, everything's good. And you can see, like I said, I got the front tire. That's why I wanted to use the wheel backs. The kit wheel backs set these tires exactly where they need to be, as far as this way, and in and out. Now you can see if I turn it upside down, the tire isn't glued to the wheel yet. How close that is to the wheel well. That's what I like. I like the tires being out to the wheel well. There's a little room in there, but that's just perfect where we want to be. Take that off there. The tires and wheels are painted and finished. Show you the wheel. We've done a little black washing. They are clear coated. These are painted MCW lacquer steel. And when we clear coated, it kind of dulled it down a little bit. They're not super aluminum looking, but it gives it, the perfect look. And we did the raised white letter tires. They were really prominent. I went back over them several times, touched up around them several times until we got a fairly clean look. And we'll probably go back over them one more time, and then I'll put a satin finish on the face of them to protect them. The rear wheels, of course, they're done as well. So, those are finished. We are actually ready to put the 4-link underneath it, the front tires on it. We will have a rolling chassis. I could do that right now and be done in 5 minutes, but I'm just waiting. We double checked our thing. We are going to carbon fiber this rear panel scratch built, because remember the kit one for Lincoln doesn't go back. The back window for the Mustang's a lot bigger. But you can also still see in there the gap we have around that, so the window will fit in there. So nothing's up too high, getting in the way of the window. I do have a set of louvers somewhere. I was thinking about putting louvers on the back window, but I want this open so you can see in here. Normally this is aluminum finish. We're going with a matte finish on all the sheet metal, which would be underneath too. We do have these nuts fasteners, slew of them, so we'll be able to go back over top of them, and we'll add the one back here that got chopped off in the beginning, because these panels apparently are removable for whatever reason. I'm not a race car aficionado that I know every rhyme or reason. But we can also see up in here now how our wheel wells fit in here, so we know we want to paint body color all the way up in here, because it's visible. Even though those tires will be in there blocking it, you'll still be able to see around those tires a little bit, so we want it realistic as possible. Let me get that in there. You can see our dump tubes, the clearance. It's right there. I mean, there is just enough room to bring the exhaust down and back up and dump them out the things, which is going to take some manipulation of these. These do have a little bit of a bend in them. If I put these in here, guys, you'll see. So you can see it does go in there. There's a little chrome tube that goes, or tip that goes on the end of that, and I want that to come out through the bezel. So we're going to work on that just a little bit. We don't have to put much, just a little more downward bend right here, and that's all it's going to take. So I'll just heat that up a little bit and give it a little downward bend, same way with the other side. We'll be able to use the factory exhaust or kit exhaust. It'll go right to the headers, and everything will line up because we are using the suspension. We didn't change the placement of the engine, anything like that, so all that should line up perfectly. So we still got to get these painted. We are using the Mustang's door cards. And I say that because the shape of the door of the Mustang, I didn't want to chew into the Lincoln's door panels that much to get that to look. But this will work. It's very similar. There's a little difference. We had to add some material back on one of them because it took too much. But we got that fixed. So you can kind of see there. And we got our arches cut back here on both of them. The dashboard lines up and it clears the roll cage like it's supposed to up front here. So we'll be using the Mustang dash and door cards, the Lincoln's floor pan, and the Lincoln seats. I'm just going to show you the back so you can see the detail. We're going to open that up underneath the headrest, both sides and in the center, and our seat belts will come over top of the seats. We may even bring them in through the center and then spread them out on the face of it. We are using the ProTech 5-point harness kit. I'll be using my own ribbon for the seat belts, harnesses. They will attach to the roll cage. That's the only difference that falls in place. We will have to add a bar in here somewhere down the road. I'll have to paint it. I'll clear coat it once it's all cut and fits in place where it's supposed to. And that's the attachment bar for the harnesses. Our nitrous tank goes back here. We will run a hose off of that down into the floor pan somewhere. The engine is already properly detailed, so we don't have to add a lot to that to resemble that. We are adding a catch can, an overflow can, MSD box, and a lot of wiring to the kit. I don't know for sure. We may do plug wires. It would be a magneto, I would presume. I have to look through the parts and see. If that's the case, I'll order a magneto one. I have a spare magneto, and I could add the wires to it, so I may just do that. Save some money and time. But we're not there yet. Our second problem that arose was the engine clearance to keep everything under the hood. We achieved that by taking almost a 1/4 inch off both sides of the engine plate. That dropped the engine down. The engine normally sat in there a little bit like this. Now it sits level, which is good. No problem with that. It doesn't change displacement from front to rear. It just changed height. Now, that also changes everything from the front of the engine forward that has to be adjusted also. And just doing this wasn't enough. So we have, find a piece here. This is one, yeah. I have 2 sets now, so which is really nice. This is the plenum box, intake box, whatever on top. It's a hair too tall, so we're going to take a little bit off. We have already on the second set. Off all the way around both sides and both pieces. And then it doesn't change the top plate. The top plate fits right back down in place where it's supposed to be. And that keeps it underneath the hood with minimal spacing left. I mean, I could probably slide a sheet of paper between the bottom of the hood and the top of the engine. So we just, if it works right, nothing changes, just fits underneath the hood. And for detail, the bezel, the tubes, dump tubes, this is the chrome trim that goes around the bezels. They're already chromed, and you can see the gap around the door. I changed the opening of the door. We clipped off the corner of the door so it clears the bezel. So for aesthetics wise, it looks the part. And then the tube itself will get chromed, except for the inside. The inside will stay black. The outside's chromed, but we'll add this on once everything's painted and done. And we got 2 of those. Those are ready to go. Tires and wheels are ready to go. The suspension's ready to go. Front suspension's just part of it, so it's ready to go. Again, we're going to carbon fiber the rear pan, the rear spoiler, the hood, and the chin spoiler. And we're using the kit decals. So there's going to be some overlapping of the decals, and especially back here, because there's a decal that goes up over here that's black that would come down and blend into this. So we're not worried about that. There's no carbon fiber back here, so that'll blend in just right. This is all painted and ready to go. This will be shiny when it's done. I was going to keep it matte, but I'm like, it'll get shiny. We do have an on and off switch for the battery, which would be on this side. It'll get mounted about right here. I think I have decals. I'm not for sure to say on and off. If I don't, I'll try to hand paint them really tiny. With the switch on there, the switch will be red. The base is chrome, and that'll get mounted to there, and then on and off. And we'll just keep it in the on position. I could probably make it turnable, where I could actually turn it. We'll see about doing that. It's not written in stone yet, but we're ready for some final assemblies, and we're ready to really kind of go on the body now. And then it'll start the carbon fiber process, and then getting all the pieces on the body, and then the final details. So we're not, but maybe a couple weeks away, maybe another month away from kind of wrapping this up. So I hope you like the process. Again, the roll cage is done. It's ready to go. It's clear coated. Everything's done. I got a set of switches to mount up here. We've got a tachometer to put on the dash. We've got a go-go button to put on either the console or by the shifter. The shifter's got a really good shifter. It came with the Lincoln kit. We're going to be using that. So somewhere in here, and we're going to do a little painting detail on the pedals. And we got the radiators here. They slope back towards the windshield. So they fit down in there, no problems. If they start giving me problems, I can always shave a little bit off the bottom of them and bring them down for hood clearance without any, you won't be able to tell. So we're really at the point where the only thing we're worried about right now is door cards in and roll cage still fitting. So we got to mock that up one more time to make sure that we're a go for that. I think we are. It would be with the Lincoln door cards, and they don't stick in any further than the Mustangs. So, if I was building it to Lincoln, it would all go together. So we're really comfortable in that fact that we shouldn't have any issues there, but it is a possibility. I got to do some research on the chute. I want to really detail that chute up with, how they always have like a ribbon hanging from it and the cables and where they go to and what they get mounted to. So I want that detail to be proper. There's speaker details that go inside because it is a Pro Street. There's 2 speaker boxes that sit back here in each corner. I've got the grills to go over that, so we're going to get those detail painted and get the grills on. That'll be the speakers, the shifter, the little switches I put in, the 5-point harnesses will be most of all the detail on the inside, other than painting. Underneath the chassis will be bolt heads here and there, some decals, these nuts, fasteners where they need to be, straps coming from the chute underneath the chassis where those get mounted. That detail will be there, and then quite a bit underneath the hood. But that stuff to me goes really fast because that's how I got good at it, is by doing it constantly. I've learned little techniques that just allow me to go faster. I'm organized to keep my wires in one little place. I can line up my drill bit to that wire. I keep those drill bits with it, and boom, drill my little hole at the beginning, drill my hole at the end, twist my wires, put it in place, a little drop of glue, set it to the side for a minute. Then I start looking to see where I can add more. Then it's the braided hoses. Where does the braided hoses go, and where do I run those to, and that kind of stuff. Those basically are going to be from catch can to the oil pan and oil or valve cover. We will have a braided hose probably coming off one or both radiators into a catch can, and then out of the catch can down. The catch cans are there for a reason. So when the car's going down the track, if it expels antifreeze, the catch cans catch it. It doesn't displace it down onto the track and make the track dangerous for somebody else. Same way with the oil catch cans. It prevents blow-by getting blown down on the track and creating a slick spot. Our lines running from the front, as there is detail that goes in the trunk, like the fuel cell and all that, and the nitrous bottles, and you don't see those, we're not worried about it. We probably will drill some holes and run our lines out and tuck them in somewhere nice and neat and bring them up to the engine bay. But that's going to be the extent of the detail underneath there. So, again, I hope you are enjoying this build. Had to put some thought process into this, guys. Some research. Cut, fit, sand, fit. Then come back and we make sure our body worked and where we scribed, everything was good. We didn't miss any marks. Because this is the point where we use a little putty, sand it all down, and then we shoot primer over it again and, see if we got it good. Because the rest of the body is just sanded. So I know I'm okay there. I can shoot the first coat of primer, and if there's scratch marks to it, then I know I can stop, and then I can take care of that. These are where I've scribed around the taillights to deepen them. The rear hatch and trunk lines, door lines, stuff like that, where it requires primer to make sure I got everything good. And I didn't make no mistakes. And so far, knock on wood, we're golden. Little tiny work here and there, but nothing that's going to set us back a day or two or anything like that. Again, like I said, in front of the engine, since we lowered the scoop, that does bring those tubes down further. So the missing part in the front was the blower support. We will mount this, set the blower up, mock it up. I can go ahead and glue all those parts together, and we're just going to put a little putty on there and push it down in there so it sets up and set everything in place. And this, how much further down past that bottom bar sits, that's where we'll have to cut this so it will mount up back up to the front like it originally was. The only difference is everything's being lowered down a little bit. So still some tweaking here and there, mocking up several times to make sure that everything that Lincoln has, we want all this to stay underneath the hood. And yes, there is some glare. It's hard for me to look at and see. I am missing these little cones, but I have the new version of this. It's on its way. So I can rob those two filters, no problem. I have plenty of 3D printed ones lying around. I can replace it. Just the kit ones will line up better and they'll fit where they're supposed to be without having to do any extra work. And you can see how the Lincoln interior is. We're using the Mustang interior. They're really similar, guys. If you have these two kits, get them out and compare parts, and you'll see that where I thought this is going to be a big job of Frankensteining these two kits together is actually been kind of a breeze. And it may be my skill set is better now, so I find this stuff a lot quicker and easier. I don't have to fight stuff as much. Everything comes a little easier now. It's kind of like you put in your time, your due diligence on other things, and then when you try to do something new, you find that certain parts of the things you're trying are a lot easier than they would have been prior to. We are doing something new on this one, which is carbon fiber. I've not decided if I'm going to split center of the hood, the chin spoiler, and the rear spoiler and kind of wishbone the carbon fiber, or if I'm just going carbon fiber the whole hood. I've seen done either way, and then the wishbone look, I call it the wishbone, I don't know what it's called, but where it runs, equal, everything lines up. I know it's easier to lay two pieces than try to cover the whole hood in one. I've not made up my mind if these bezels are going to remain black. They might. It's a good possibility they will. And when I clear it, they'll be gloss black. And then carbon fiber the rest of it. So it's a possibility we find dead center, and we'll use tape, big piece of masking tape, or two pieces together, and we'll lay the hood down. We'll trace the line around it, and we'll kind of stick it on here, and we'll take our dead center marks front and back and transfer that onto the tape, cut the tape in half, cut where we trace around the hood, and we'll overlay that on the back of the carbon fiber and cut our carbon fiber sheets out. And then we'll most important thing is get that center lined up and the pattern of the carbon fiber lined up, and then we can do our wrap and tuck where need to be. We don't want to wrap it up underneath the hood real far. We want to keep a nice, even edge on both sides. We can even carbon fiber underneath the hood. I mean, if the whole hood was carbon fiber, that would make more sense. So we got a little figuring out to do still. But the main thing for this project was putting this, it's not a real big engine, but a big engine, and that setup underneath the hood of the Mustang, and keeping it all under the hood, slamming the Mustang to the ground. We don't want doing a Chevelle approach tree. It would have a little bit of a rake, be low, but no, we wanted this Mustang to sit really low. We achieved that by using a different tire, even though it's basically the same. It's just this tire isn't as tall, but it's wider, so it worked in our benefit to lower the car a little more. So now we got that car, you saw the stance, sitting low. beautiful stance. That is the finished ride height. There is a little rake. You can see the difference in gap, but it's perfect. Now, if I was racing out on the street and that pulled up next to me, I would be so intimidated. Especially seeing those sticking out the back. And you can see an overall how the rear pan now travels far enough back. We duplicated the detail, the inlay, the rolled metal look in there. Rolled carbon fiber that, the rear spoiler, the chin spoiler, and the hood. So we have some carbon fiber points on the car. The rest is going to be just like the box art, that color silver with all the black decals like they're supposed to be. It is a stock body. The only thing that we modified was the dump tubes, and we added carbon fiber parts. We're running a basic stock dash, stock door panels, a racing chassis, and I truly think this is going to be one of my best builds. Some of your best builds come when they just fall together. And you don't have to do a lot to achieve what you had in your head. And I thought I was really going to fight this tooth and nail, have a lot of issues, and I'm past 90% of those issues that would have arose. Now I've just got some minor issues that I got to pay attention to and constantly mock up to make sure that when I put this thing finally together, it's going to look the way I want it to look. The detailing part, that's nothing. I don't even think about that now, because that's all easy stuff. That's just stuff I'm adding underneath the hood. It's the modifications you made. Is it going to change structurally and aesthetically your vision that you have of being, all under the hood, not widening the body, not chopping the body or channeling it or anything like that, just using a stock body. The only modifications we made to the body were the back corners, or the bottom corners of the doors. We cut those off and rounded them to clear the bezels of the dump tubes. That was the easy thing, just to put that bezel in there and draw a little line and then scribe it. And we know our bezel plates, when they go on, trim rings, they will cover the actual original L shape of the bottom corner of the door, so those won't even be seen anymore. So I don't have to worry about filling that in and puttying it or anything like that, because it just won't be seen. And then just adding some touches of racing, some touches of OEM, and a neat street car that can be raced on the track too. So remember, guys, down in the comments, let me know what you think. This has been a blast. I've had so much fun. I thank Dylan from the bottom of my heart for hosting this every year. I've wanted to get in on this thing probably for the past 4 years, and it's always been something I've been in the middle of a big build and just didn't have the time to break away, because at the time I was working and just didn't have a lot of time to focus and do it. This is a car that me and Fred Henry had talked about for quite a while, that I wanted to do a Mach 1 and Pro Street it, and he was really enthralled with it, loved the idea. He said definitely do it and run with it, and I couldn't do it at the time. I even bought some parts back then, and I still have them, and they're going into this build. The only difference is I had bought the paint for this, and we went a different route on color. It was the OEM, like burgundy color, and that one had an engine sticking through the hood, and we're not doing that, so this one really fits the bill a whole lot better. I have that kit up here. We were going to use the 73 Mustang. I have the paint. I had the tires and wheels. Fred was going to make the resin casted wheels and tires for me, but I was going to stay out and use the kit rubber ones. And then since Ryan Jones designed these actually benefited us to use these, because we got lower and we got wider, and that's important. These are wide, but having something that's 1/8 of an inch wider, that's even better. So remember, guys, these tires and wheels, Iceman Collections. They're very available in all different sizes. I would assume these are the biggest ones. So, because Ryan always sends me the widest tire and the tallest tire, because that's what I like. But definitely get over and check out Iceman Collections and get you a set of these. If you're going to do a Pro Street build, that's all you do, or race cars, these are the tire and wheel that you want to use. God, they painted up so nice. They fit perfect. I didn't have to modify the tire or wheel in any shape or form. So yeah, they are the Mickey Thompson Sportsman Pro, soon to be available at Iceman Collections. I think they already are. Rims already available. So there's different wheels combinations you can use for these tires. The front tires are spot on, 4-inch tires. I think that's what they are, 5-inch. I've worn off the marker, guys, on the back, I'm sorry. They're between 3 and 5 inches wide. But they're scale, they're perfect. They are a hair narrower than the kit ones. And everybody loves those Pro Stock front tires for the builds because they're so skinny. These are a hair skinnier. So, or it's a hair wider. I think it's a hair wider. And that's even better if you're running a Pro Street. You want a little wider tire in the front for handling. You know, it's not going to handle like a dream anymore anyways, but a little wider tire is a little better. And then you can always swap it out on the weekend at the drag strip and put the narrower tire in the front and lighter tire. But these are amazing. You could leave them black if you want to, or, you know, do the race white letters like I did. Just be patient. You have to go back over everything a couple times, touch it up, but overall you get a nice look. I'll still go back over and touch up one more time. I used a gel pen, and then touched up with a tiny brush, the black, and you just go back until you get it, and then you're done. And then you can I put a satin gloss finish over just the sidewall. I like if they've been armor rolled, and that will seal those white letters from getting rubbed off down the road. But again, check out Iceman Collections for those tires. For your next Pro Street, you won't be sorry. I can almost promise you and guarantee you that you won't be sorry with those. You'll love the look of them. After they're painted, how they look in the car, they're just fantastic. You know, there's nothing wrong with these at all. But if you can improve, why not? And these definitely improve. So again, thank you to Dylan for hosting the group build. I've been seeing some other people. Some other people are done already. But I didn't want to rush through it because this is one I intend to take to Acme. So it's got to be show quality. And that's why I'm just taking my time. I hope to have it finished by the deadline. And the way it's going right now, it should be. And it's shaping up to be one of my best builds. So I'm really ecstatic about it. I'm very proud of it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Again, let me know what you think about how the editing is doing on the videos. My niece is busting her ass. She's new at it, but she's a lot better than me. She knows her way around a computer where I don't. So it is improving my video quality slowly but surely. So let me know what you think about the quality of the videos now. If you're liking it, what you like, what you don't like. Just be polite about it. You don't have to be rude. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. This is Rusty Rotor. I'm out.